Alright guys, welcome back for the second game of the day. We have a best of three this time coming your way, and we actually get to see the new Endpoint roster in action, which I'm actually really looking forward to. They added the Leader and Supreme. Jamie, of course, returning to the roster after not being able to attend Gallantry. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can get done. I think into this game, they definitely are going to be the heavy favorites. You can see already Fancy going to be able to open this one up. Using that popcorn gun, doing so very efficiently as he actually takes himself 2 quick kills. With the assistance of his teammates, it seems like it's going to be an easy cleanup, a knife even to close it out. As there we have it. Oh, it actually was the knife from Reyes to get the kill onto J Money rather. So, yeah, a little bit of BM in return perhaps. But there we have it. Endpoint to pick up that opening round. And Mitch is still having some issues with his game. So I think he's here through the screen share, but he's a little bit limited in quality, sadly. As always, though.
Wow. All right. Yeah, well, we will make the best of it. Almost a flawless round coming in for the Axis side of Endpoint, the new lineup. Like you said, Dean, it's going to be facing a test here. But still, it should be a relatively good game. I mean, I'm really excited to see it. The Leader plays on that scope, replacing Icons there. He's a really strong scoped player. With J Money returning, lots of Car 98K plays to come, but he's starting it off with Gaver doing a little bit of damage before having to go for the reload. He's been pushed in on all sides, and sadly, as he's on the reload, he shouldn't have much of a chance, but the pistol comes out. Fancy coming in for one with the Leader as well, and the trades eventually come in, but it's a 2 versus 3. Low HP on Zoxok as the plank comes in. No nades to deny it, unfortunately, and as some tokens are picked up, it's still going to be a good round for the Allies, who were pretty much on an eco here. The Supreme picks up the final 2 kills. At 2-0 is kind of punished because they lost a lot of weapons and they gave away a lot of tokens to the Allies. They're going to be feeling pretty happy. With a 2-0 lead, the Allies should be able to get a bit of a buy up into this round.
Yeah, and you can see they are indeed going to buy what they can into this one. It's not perfect, but they do have 3 M1 Garans, a Carbine, and a Bar. Utility-wise, they are lacking quite heavily, though. They had 2 smokes, I believe, alongside that 1 frag grenade, which already the smokes have been used up. The focus seems to be in towards mid so far, perhaps to favor towards this A-bomb site into this upcoming round. And it is actually a stronger investment, surprisingly enough, coming out from the Allied side. The Leader sticking on towards that Guru is going to be able to go ahead and take down Reyes early on. Fancy with the MP4, he gets the first jump shot to take down CZ. And J Money going to be able to find that trade immediately afterwards as we see all of it left onto Buster now. 1v4. Chances, I would say they are slim to none. Wouldn't really favor it. He gets himself 1 coin at least in the process, a token to be carried over. Can he find any more frags? Drop a few weapons perhaps out of the hands of Endpoint. If he peeks out right now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But there we go, actually gets the kill onto J Money.
Well, 3-0, a good starting lead to Endpoint. And as the Allies are bottom into that round, that's not a round they really wanted to lose at all. Now they're forced onto just those M1 carbines. 1 grand going to come out onto Buster. Presumably CZ going to also go for a carbine, at least. That doesn't look like it. He's sticking with the grease gun. That's an interesting choice. See if there's any start around kills to come in. The nade's not going to land for the Axis early on. Another to be thrown over towards the tree. It's a little bit late to catch any kills, though, as J Money's picking up 2 kills with the 3 kills with the Car 98K off screen. It's only going to be a 2 versus 5, as this round is not going all too well. Luckily enough, it is only an eco from the Allies. The only player to really invest into this was Buster, and he's still alive, so can still do a little bit of damage. Doesn't want to be peeking into J Money, but unfortunately, he does catch the eye of the Leader, and indeed the bullet right into the head. As Rez eventually finds a kill, he's got 4 more to go. The ace to pick up this round, and I wouldn't really favor his chances. He has managed to isolate 1 player, Fancy. His teammate Sus was towards the top of mid to help him out as well. 4-0, Endpoint off to a strong start, with no rounds really coming down all too close yet. The Allies haven't been able to contest all too heavily, but now with the full buy, this is their chance.
Indeed it is. It's similar to what we've seen coming out in that previous round in terms of the firepower they have, but they have a couple more nades at least. Well, not even really. They have 1 extra frag grenade, so it's not too much better than what we've seen coming out previously, but let's see if they're going to be able to make it work. J Money onto that Car 98. We've seen what he could get done in the previous. It was, of course, up against an eco. But we know that he's a very capable player on that weapon. Quick reactions, lots of multi-kills is what we likely will be seeing from him. And right now, at least, we can see it is just a split coming in from the Allied side, waiting to see if they can find anyone from Endpoint looking to try and aggress early on to give them an opportunity to open up a position on the map. But it's not really going to be happening too much. Deleter is pushed up fairly aggressive up into that B house. He has the MP40 and actually will be able to go ahead and claim himself a frag, and even drops the bomb in the process of doing so. M1 Garant to be retrieved to back up that MP40 for when he needs to take those longer range duels.
With the time ticking away and the bomb down at the car, things aren't looking all too good for the Allied side. The leader also managing to just find a flank. Oh, that's a little bit awkward. Antok's not quite looking towards him. The leader not looking towards him either. As Buster finds a kill, the 4 versus 3 ensues. Antok eventually spots out Fancy, but the leader in the house is able to trade that out. Probably should have found that kill a little bit earlier, but the wall unfortunately just working against him there. 2 versus 3. Bomb still in the possession of the Axis side. J Money watching the cross, though. He gets taken down. That's the Car 98K picked up for the Allies. And a really strong chance into this round. Rez got to be careful because he's been flanked out. The rotation coming in through spawn from Supreme as the leader still occupying the house. Has got control of that bomb. Actually, he's made his way over towards the fountain at the back of sight. Already finding one kill there as Buster is left to contend on 1 versus 2. No time left, though, as he finds the kill. He'll get a couple of tokens. Save over the SMGs. And that is going to be it. 1 versus 1. 1 out by the Endpoint side. Bring it 5-0 as the time just runs out on the Allies, who just took a little bit too long.
Yeah, but that was it was the closest we've seen, so a little bit of hope perhaps can be taken out of that round. Some positives. As you said, need to make sure that they keep an eye on that clock and can actually get that bomb planted in time. 5-0 for Endpoint right now, so it looks like we potentially could be seeing another pretty one-sided game from what we've seen so far. Those nades, not actually quite finding the frags, but very close indeed. Will allow for the Allied side to go ahead and cross over towards this B side of the map, and it looks like a fast split is going to be what they look to try and go for. The leader already, similar to what we've seen in that round before, pushed up aggressively with the MP40. But at least this time he will be traded pretty quickly, so that's going to be able to do the same as he finds one. But overall, the exchanges, they do go in favor of the Allied side. As Endpoint, they're left in a 2-on-3 to try and actually recover it.
That's a solid round coming out from the Allies already. Supreme's got to have a big performance with that M1 Garand in hand. Oh, and as he runs out of ammo, he's going to be pushed down. He's got to make it around the corner in time. Low HP as well. He's got to regen that, but as he's peeked out, Rez will take him down and bring it 5-1. Eventually, a round comes in for the Allied side. They're going to be feeling good about that Ascension. Finally, with a round on the board, and a well-deserved one with 2 players left alive. The economy building up. They should be in a decent position to get a buy into this round. They can donate over a couple tokens. The Axis not looking all too good either. They're kind of starved for tokens. Only a nade coming out on Fancy. It's going to have to do a little bit of work into this round as the rest of the team taking up Gevers and MP40s. Fancy dedicating his money to that nade, hoping to find some opening kills. But if Supreme's good for 1 and a second, low HP somehow connects that kill with the MP40. Making his way into the Manorhouse now, not being checked either, but he's walked straight by Buster. That is unlucky for him, and brings us to a 2 versus 4. Still a favorable position for the Axis, especially as they connected onto Sock. So finding that 2K, with Fancy picking up the slack and bringing it to 6-1. A quick round for Endpoint, punishing the previous round where Ascension won it out. Now breaking the economy of Ascension as well. No more loss bonus.
Yeah, that's a really heartbreaking round for them to lose. That's going to make this game just so difficult right now. As you can see, very limited in terms of the tokens that they have available. Antok's going to go ahead and buy up a carbine. A Thompson comes out as well. The rest of the players are sticking onto the grease guns. And it is going to be a pretty limited buy overall. Not a lot of utility either to back it up. Already some smokes have been thrown out, and Nade actually comes out of hands of CZs. He takes down Sus pretty quickly. And that's a nice find early on. Gives them a bit of a chance. They will try and just group up and hit this A-bomb quite quickly as they approach through the barn. But Fancy, he's ready for it. Finds himself the first. Supreme going to be able to chime in with one also. He's still alive on this bomb site, but he has actually been pushed back down to only the pistol. Jumping with the STG. The last bullets, he finds himself 2 more kills somehow. Managed to get that reload in, and suddenly it's all on the Buster. It's falling apart. He's left to try and clutch it out 1-on-2. Will he be able to pull it off is the question. Already been tagged up heavily. And he will indeed be pushed down by the leader, who's there to finish him off. 7-1, Brazil. It is the scoreline we see.
Yeah, the Brazil comes out. Still, that was a pretty close round for the Allies. Unfortunately, Endpoint relying on some solo plays coming out there to save them. But into the 2v1. They win that out. With the lead coming in, that secures them a better economy. We're going to see Supreme actually taking up the scope instead of the leader. That's an interesting decision. I haven't seen Supreme using that scope rifle all too many times. Let's see how this is going to play out for him. Fancy making his way towards the bomb site. He manages to find one. The leader with one as well, as Fancy regening that health is going to go a little bit aggressive to try to take Rez down. Supreme finds one with the scope. Fancy on the flank is going to find the bomb as well as the second last kill, leaving just Buster left alive at a 1v5. The round just falls apart really quickly. Fantastic control of the mid trenches there, and ultimately just an inability to trade for the Allied side. Even though they had two players together in mid trench, Fancy still able to find one and then duck into cover, get some regen up, and eventually find the second. Pressure on all sides, and it's working out. Endpoint already with a 7-round lead as we come into the 10th round.
Yeah, but on the bright side, Ascension already have more rounds than we've seen from ORO in the last game, so it's improvements. Yeah, I'm just being really nice. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, that was a bit tough.
Endpoint are probably a team that are on a bit of a higher level than what we've seen of Invictus as well. Although they did really impress in that previous game. I want to see what they can do when they're up against a team that can actually challenge them, because the previous game, of course, was a bit of a breeze for them. Very slow round right now coming in from Ascension. Just hanging back. 3 players waiting on the other side of the smoke. Just making some noise. I was thinking maybe they'll try and push him down when they heard the reload. But of course, Fancy was ready for it. I was going to say it's a little bit of a bait and switch setup they had. Fancy was playing up close to the smoke as well. And you can see, of course, that worked perfectly. CZ completely fell for it. Don't shoot your teammate, bro.
Fancy again is escaping with his life. Well, never mind. Suck gets the double spray down there. Fancy and J Money to fall. Bring them down to a 3 versus 2 and a favorable round for the Allies. That was until the leader had something to say about it, finding an easy opening kill and equalizing it back to a 2 versus 2 with the flank coming in as well from Supreme with the sniper. He's actually not able to spot anybody out, unfortunately. Well, that was until Buster went a little bit too aggressive, peeked right into his scope. And as Antox tries to make his way back towards the site, the leader has been given too much time, allowed to make his way onto the site, finds the kill. And that's easy peasy. 9-1 as Endpoint looking really strong. You can give them a little bit of slack on the Allied side and say, well, Endpoint are on their Axis side. They do get a little bit of favor there, stronger weapons, the likes of J Money taking out the Kar 98K, and Supreme clearly on the sniper card, not doing all too bad himself, but I think an 8-round lead is a little bit unjustified. This is where we need to see Ascension step it up. Well, a couple of rounds ago is where we needed to see it, but if they don't manage to pick up at least 4 rounds, I think it's going to be all but over for them in the qualifier. Well, in this map anyways. Of course, it is a best of 3. So they'll have plenty of time later on, but you don't want to be going into the second map of a best of 3, 16-1 down. At Endpoint, that'll be favorable for them. Already finding 2 kills as they make their way over towards aggression on B. The leader is doing a big job there and leaving it down to a 2 versus 4. Easy for his teammates now.
Yeah, looking to be indeed. Zuck and Buster, all that remain. At least have the bomb in their possession and a decent amount of time to work with, just under a minute remaining. They are, of course, being flanked out as well, which is going to be a real problem. Supreme waiting from behind. They try and make their way back. They would indeed be spotted out. And actually aggressive push as well coming in towards B, which is interesting considering they have this flank from behind. But there you go. J Money gets the first. Buster, he's all alone, playing around the smoke. Once he tries to push out, there's a player up close on the right who will indeed be able to finish him off. Fancy with the final kill, 10-1. Already we see Endpoint reaching double digits. He said they are on the side of the map that it is quite quite heavily favourite towards, but still, we're not really seeing too much hope for the Ascension side by any means. They had that one round they picked up, but even then, that one was kind of just very hectic. They went towards that B-bomb site, I believe it was. They went for a pretty fast round, and they ended up just about winning out in the end. But it seems like overall, Endpoint, they're having a pretty easy time at just winning out these aim duels and ensuring that Ascension are always on the back foot, somehow trying to work themselves back into the round. Already a 5-on-3. J-Money, the one that opened it up. It's actually fancy to find the first level 8, but J-Money found them one just a couple of moments ago. Already only 3 remain for the Ascension team. Oh, and Zazak, I think he's going to be spotted out. Also, Reyes gets taken down. Zazak is actually the last man standing. And Fancy jumps around the corner to finish him off with the M1 Garand. 11-1. 10 rounds now in the difference. As we see, yet another one-sided game.
Yeah, not all too surprising to see that coming out, though, in the early stages of the tournament, of course.
Yeah, a qualifier open to anyone who wants to join. So as I said in the previous game, you kind of would expect early on some kind of wipeouts to happen.
Well, it's certainly been playing as expected. I mean, such a dominant lead already from Endpoint. The second map probably won't be looking on too much better. And as it looks like Ascension starting to gear up towards the B side, they're going for full aggression there. The leader already find the kill. And despite the whole team pushing the site down, there's no trades. Everybody's just a little bit too far behind as Rez pushes in and gets taken out. Zoxok eventually finds one on the Fancy. J-Money, he's getting aggressive over towards the car. It's about to spot out a player. Zoxok making his way back after that opening kill towards the house. And that's going to bring it down to a 4 versus 3 as they wait for the smoke to dissipate on the B side. The white box is going to be the suspected angle for J-Money. He's a little bit curious about middle, though. Of course, they could have made their way all the way up trenches. And look at the flank coming in as well. All the way around in the back. I think that's Supreme. Indeed, with the scoped weapon. He's looking for that flank, but there might be nobody left as J-Money finds an opening on the Buster. Again, no trace to be found. He jumps out in the middle of the open. And again, no trace to be found. The leader comes in then to finish off the final player, Antox. And 12-1 is going to be the score. Great plays from Endpoint, and ultimately Ascension just a little bit too disjointed. It seems like the team play is going down the drain.
Indeed, it doesn't really seem to be the way they are. The way that Ascension are playing this currently is not really great by any means. As I said, it's kind of they're given the opportunities for the one-on-ones to be taken early on, and Endpoint, we know they have the skill to win those every single time, or at least the majority of the time. And it continues to be the case. Sus gets a little bit over-aggressive there. Does actually give up his life after finding only one frag onto Antox. So a decent enough trade at least to be brought in by Buster in this round. The 4-on-4 puts them in a decent enough position. Let's see if they're going to be able to capitalize on and capitalize on it rather, and try and actually turn this one into a round. As we see, still very split up on the Ascension side. If they made their way up Way long right now, they'd likely have a pretty easy chance. It'd only be Supreme they'd have to take down, or maybe even if they just wrapped in through the barn. Especially now, as we've seen CZ actually get that kill, that gives them almost free access to this bomb site. But as we said, Supreme aggressive on long. They do have to be very cautious of him. And the leader is going to find one frag before they can actually make their way onto that bomb site. So back into an equal situation in terms of the manpower.
The bomb going down. The nade comes in, though. No kills to be found in the back of it. Buster going for the peak, but unfortunately the leader is able to connect the shot as he's leaning around behind the pole. Second kill to come in as well, leaving only Rez left alive. He's going to try pick up that sniper and do a little bit of damage with it. But unfortunately, that bomb can just be stuck. Oh, good shot by Rez, but unfortunately, J-Money is there to trade it back. The Car 90 AK coming out in force. As 13-1 is going to be the scoreline. The gun is flying around the map. Trying to make an escape before the bomb blows up. There we go. 13-1, one more round to play for, and it looks like we might see 16-0 in the first game of the day, and then 16-1 in the second. To be honest, I'd
Don't
be
jinx it, yeah.
surprised.
Watch it be
Uh,
16-13 now for Ascension, just because you said it.
I would be surprised to see Ascension actually pick up another round though. Like the best that they're getting is the bomb plant down. They're just falling apart, even with man advantages. Just the teamwork just doesn't seem to be there. People are just peeking out by themselves, and even when they do peek together, they're getting out aimed by the likes of the leader there in the previous round. It's just not good enough. Especially not against a team like Endpoint. They're not going to allow you to get away with those kind of mistakes. This new lineup already doing well into this round. Sus, Supreme, and J Money each picking up a kill before eventually the leader's taken down. But Jay is there for the trade. The Car 98K Supreme coming out. It's only going to be Rez. 1 versus 4. And J Money to finish him off as well.
14-1 at half time. Just another absolute stomp so far. Will Ascension be able to go ahead and get off to a decent start here on the Axis side? I wouldn't say their chances of coming back are very high, but of course it is a best of 3, so if they can at least get themselves warmed up before they head onto that second map, try and get themselves into a better mindset and come into that one having kind of stopped some of that momentum from Endpoint, it would be ideal. But how dominant it's been looking so far, as you said, you would be surprised if we don't see Endpoint take this one 16-1.
Well, we're going to find out pretty soon just how this potentially last 2 rounds are going to play out. CZ doing a good job to find the kill there with the popcorn gun, but continues to get aggressive. That's going to cost him as now Rez has to take the fights with the Gewehr, missing all of his shots. As Buster, 1 versus 4. Again, Ascension find themselves in the 1vx situation and not connecting any kills early on. Things really are not looking good. That is the end of the round, 15-1. There's only 1 more round is needed right now before we see this first map come to a close. And again, like you said, Dean, another one-sided game.
Yeah, looking like it is indeed going to be that 16-1. Of course, Ascension, they buy what they can into this round, but it's only Goers. It's that 1 popcorn gun being carried over by CZ. Unless for him to at least get 1 grenade. So maybe if he can find an opening kill with that one, and looking for him a chance in this round, as we said, it's kind of easier when you're on the Axis side to make those weaker weapons work. You don't have to be the one to kind of force the issue. You can kind of just sit back, hold an angle, and wait for the frags to come towards you. So far, Endpoint are just looking absolutely spectacular. First time we've seen this new lineup playing together, of course, and it's looking good for them so far. Let's see what they can do as well against some higher level opponents. Buster and CZ able to find 1 each. 3-on-3, aggressive push from Sus. He's going to go ahead and cut off the rotate. And now, actually now it's only the 3-on-3, my apologies. So let's see if this retake is going to happen. Perhaps there is a chance. Supreme spots out 2 players around in the barn, finds them both. And now it's all onto Zok Zok. 1v3 initially as he takes the first kill, but 2 more players to find. 30 seconds left on the bomb. And a dream that, frankly, I just don't think it's going to come true.
Certainly doesn't look likely, and with Gewehr shots not being connected, he's being flanked out now both directions. Shot on the back by Fancy. Grease gun to finish off the map. 16-1. The real question, Dean, is the next map going to be 16-2?
Perhaps. Maybe we see 1 more round every game we go.
That's quite possible. Well, hopefully it'll actually be a little bit more competitive, but looking at how Manorhouse went down, I don't have a whole lot of faith. I wouldn't be surprised to see Endpoint having a similar performance on the next map as we move over. I believe it's Coastal?
Yeah, I believe it is indeed. So we are just going to go ahead and take a quick break, I believe. So go ahead and get your cups of tea, go to the bathroom quickly, and return for some more, hopefully not very one-sided battalion action.